close our eyes, turn the mind towards God and pray to Him for the prosperity of the humanity. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Sthapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatar Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, who incarnated on this earth to teach people the ways of love and knowledge. He said once his father had been to Gaya, it is Lord Vishnu Kshetra. The lotus feet of Lord Vishnu is being worshipped. Kshudiram Chattopadhyaya, the father of Sri Ramakrishna, a very devoted, he used to worship Raghu Saligram. One day he was returning from a neighboring village. It was very hot in the noon, so he wanted to take some rest under a tree. Then when he was taking rest, he got a dream where he saw God coming and telling him, directing him to the place where the salagram is laying on the earth. It is being guarded by the snake, and he ordered him to take that salagram to the home and do worship. Immediately he woke up. He went to the place a few yards from the tree, and he saw, when he came there, the serpent just left, and he saw the salagram. Immediately he took the salagram to his home and began to worship with great devotion. Even now that salagram is kept in Kamarpukur, the birthplace of Sri Ramakrishna. So he was very much devoted. To him God was real. It was not imagination. His wife also was very blessed. She also had number of visions of God and goddesses. She was also very devoted. Sri Ramakrishna was born of them. So when Kshudiram was in the temple of Gaya, he got a dream where Sri Ramachandra told him that he would be born as his son. Kshudiram was greatly devoted to Sri Ramachandra. He became nervous a little. He thought, how could he serve the Lord of the universe? He, being a poor man, is it possible to look after him properly? That was his concern. Sri Ramachandra understood him and said to him smilingly, not to worry about it. It will be taken care of. Kshudiram shed tears of joy. So God incarnates to teach the people how to love, how to offer worship to God, how to reach Him. On another occasion, Sri Ramakrishna said, Sri Ramakrishna's sister used to worship Sri Ramakrishna's feet with flowers and sandal paste. Sri Ramakrishna showed his kripa on her. He was impressed by her devotion. One day, he placed his foot on her head and said to her, "You will die in Benares." people used to desire that they should give up their body in Benares so that they can get moksha, liberation. How difficult it is to get liberation. One has to practice severe disciplines for births and births, yet it may not be possible to get liberation so easily. So, in this particular context, how Sri Ramakrishna released his sister from samsara. He is hinting that she will not be again caught up in the net of worldliness. By Master's grace and love, she got liberation. Because she could worship Sri Ramakrishna's feet with wholeheartedness, with full of devotion and love, it gave its wonderful result. There is a verse in Paduka Sahasram, 1000 verses on the sandals of Sri Ramchandra, written by Sri Vedanta Deshik. It's a marvelous text. There, the glory of Paduka is described. Yadadharam vishvam gatirapicha yastasya parama tamapyeka dhatse dishasicha gatintasya ruchiram. Lord Krishna supports all the worlds. Paduka is support to him, since the Paduka carries the Lord whole and entire being when he stands on the Paduka or moves about with the Paduka on his feet. So Paduka is greater than the greatest being. The Lord is the ultimate goal, refuge for all the worlds. His movement is Paduka Dhinam, since his lovely movements are dependent on Paduka. So, that's why we always take Charanamrit, that is the holy water used for worshipping, for washing the lotus feet of God. It has got tremendous spiritual power. It purifies our heart, increases our devotion and faith in God. Spiritual things give good results if we have Shraddha in what we are doing. Next, Sri Ramakrishna said, it is God who, as the Guru, makes one know. Guru's role is very essential, very important. In fact, it is through the grace of Guru one gets realization. Guru Kripa is par excellence. Sri Ramakrishna tells the story of tigress and its cub, which has profound spiritual significance. You know that story. Once a tigress attacked a herd of goats. A hunter saw her from a distance and killed her. It gave birth to a cub as she expired. Then the cub grew in the company of goats. It began to behave like a goat, eating grass, bleating like the goats. Though its form is tiger, it is behaving like a sheep because of the company, association. When attacked by other animals, this sheep tiger also would run away like the goats. One day it so happened, a tiger from the forest came there suddenly, attacked the herd. But it was surprised to see another tiger in the herd behaving like goats. Then this new tiger immediately went and got hold of the sheep tiger and forced it to look at its face in the water. Then the meat was pushed into its mouth. Then the tiger of the forest said, "Look, what a disgrace. You lived with the goats and ate grass like them, so you are behaving like sheep, though your nature is not sheep." Now, this remarkable story, has wonderful spiritual meaning. Eating grass is like enjoying lust and gold. To bleat and run away like a goat is to behave like an ordinary man. Going away with the forest tiger is like taking shelter with the guru, who awakens one's spiritual consciousness and recognizing him alone as one's relative. To see one's face rightly is to know one's real self. It's because of the forest tiger coming to the help of sheep tiger, the sheep tiger could change her habits, could realize its true nature. It was also a tiger like the one that came from forest. So here Sri Ramakrishna is telling how Guru plays a very important role in kindling us, in giving awakening to us. Otherwise, we are lost in this world. As long as we hang on to the world and its amusements, we will have to behave like a sheep tiger, weeping, crying, fighting about loss and gain, pain and pleasure, all sorts of things that come in life. Sometimes the Guru, out of his infinite grace, will come by himself and see the miserable condition and kindles an awakening in the people. He makes us aware about the reality. So the incarnations are the Satchidananda Guru in human form, the spiritual teachers, the spiritual masters of the world. The Guru says, why are you suffering like this? Why are you crying? Because you are ignorant of your true nature. You are behaving like a sheep tiger because of your continuous association with the world. You have become worldly, though your nature is not that. It is the nature of the world to keep you always in tension, in worries, anxieties, and so on. You are that infinite power, that supreme being which assumes the three forms of waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper. The waker, the dreamer, and deep sleeper go through various experiences, modifications, and changes. Atman remains changeless, constant, something which never wakes up, which never dreams, which never sleeps. Now reflect more deeply. Suppose you see a tree in your garden. What makes the tree grow? Sprouting of the leaves, blossoming of the flowers, getting fruits finally. It is that infinite unknown power that makes all these things. The same power makes all other trees grow. The same force resides in the animals. It is the very same power which causes the sun to shine earth and the earth to revolve, rivers to flow. These Panchamahabhutas, they are carrying on their duties on account of the infinite power of God. That infinite power is in you. That mighty force accomplishes millions of deeds in your own body every moment. That infinite power which operates in your personality is the same that operates everywhere. It is homogeneous, infinite, and all pervading. It's called Atman when it pertains to your individual personality. The same referred to as the total, all-embracing power is called Brahman. In fact, Atman and Brahman are indivisible, like a ray of the sun and sunlight. They are homogeneous and all-pervading, though called differently. So Guru says, you have infinite power within you, yet you seek power in the external world. You have infinite joy within, yet you seek joys of world outside. You have infinite knowledge within, yet you seek knowledge extrovertedly. The kingdom of heaven lies within you, yet you run after all sorts of precious trifles. All these paradoxes exist because of the basic problem of introversion. It is extremely difficult to understand yourself. Ironically, it is simpler to understand another or the world around you. You are able to detect the faults of others easily, but your own faults, several times magnified, are obscure to you. Therefore, you must concentrate all your efforts in analyzing yourself rather than criticizing others. You believe you know yourself, but that is not true. You have to exert yourself a great deal just to know yourself. The moment you find a defect in another, remember to look within yourself. Understand behind every flaw that you recognize in another, you have the same, perhaps far more pronounced in your own personality. So do not consume all your life merely criticizing the flaws and failings of others. Judge not others, cautioned Christ. The energy you waste in judging others is just what you need to make you live up to your own ideals. Observing a small blemish in a person, what a strong tendency people have to overlook all his good qualities. In the present society, what we find, each member concentrates his attention on the faults of another. What defiles a person is not what goes into him, but what comes out of him. A baker may be living on bran and husk, but on that ground you need not refrain from eating his confectionery. You need not give up the rose for its thorns. How true is the saying, there is so much good in the worst of us and so much bad in the best of us, that it does not behove us to speak about the rest of us. You will have to take the teachings of a person on its own merits without any regard to his personality. With the help of such teachings, learn to look within yourself, find out your own flaws and faults, eradicate them one by one. Do not waste your energies praying into the private lives of others. You have no right to do so. If others make mistakes, they will have to pay the price for them. Let them settle their own accounts with God. Why should you bother? What have you to do with them? Your business is your life. You need to be concerned with yourself. Look within yourself, you will prosper. You will find peace. Thus, if you take care of yourself, the world will take care of itself. Sri Ramakrishna said, first you realize your true self, then be in the world and carry on all the activities. Atman is your real self. Spiritual inquiry culminates in discovery of yourself. Atman, is the goal of your pursuit. You have to turn introvert, wade through your body, mind and intellect, your gross, subtle and causal bodies, and reach the core of your personality. That is absolute fulfillment of your life. But instead of looking within, you have a tendency to look out. Your inherent inclination is extrovert. You go all out into the external world, seeking pleasures, joys and knowledge. You get totally involved in the affairs of the world. Consequently, you are agitated. Your mind becomes restless. Your intellect is deprived of its clarity of vision. You lose objectivity in life. So the end result is suffering. Suffering. So suffering is because of our involvement in the world. Whereas your self is all blissful. It enjoys absolute objectivity. It is not at all involved in the world. Hence it is called Sakshi, means witness. You can enjoy that state of absolute objectivity and bliss by realizing yourself, for which you should first rehabilitate your mind and intellect. So this way, Guru gives an awakening to the suffering man. You are not to suffer. You are suffering because you are not going in the way how you should go. You are not associating with the people whom you should associate. You are not taking steps to go inward. That means you have to exert yourself honestly to find out who you are. It's an opportunity given to us to find out the truth. We are here to carry our spiritual journey, not for anything else. So if we are having the goal in front of us, then everything becomes significant. So this awakening comes from the Guru. Then once we step into practices, then slowly we get rid of our false nature and we realize more and more about our true nature. The more we realize our true nature, the more we become peaceful and blissful. So that is the great significance of this wonderful story of the tigress and its cub. Page 360. Sri Ramakrishna stood up. There was silence all around, disturbed only by the gentle rustling of the pine needles and the murmuring of the Ganges. The master went to the Panchavati and then to his room, talking all the while with aim. The disciple followed him, fascinated. At the Panchavati, Sri Ramakrishna touched with his forehead the raised platform around the banyan tree. This was the place of his intense spiritual discipline, where he had wept bitterly for the vision of the Divine Mother, where he had held intimate communion with her, and where he had seen many divine forms. The master and Yam passed the cluster of bakul trees and came to the Nahabat. Hazra was there. The master said to him, "Don't eat too much and give up this craze for outer cleanliness. People with a craze do not attain knowledge. Follow conventions only as much as necessary. Don't go to excess." The master entered his room and sat on the couch. Sri Ramakrishna was resting after his midday meal when Surendra, Ram and other devotees arrived from Calcutta. It was about 1 o'clock. While M was strolling alone under the pine trees, Harish came there and told him that the master wanted him in his room. Someone was going to read from the Shiva Samhita, a book containing instructions about yoga and the 6 centers. M entered the room and saluted the master. The devotees were seated on the floor, but no one was reading the book. Sri Ramakrishna was talking to the devotees. Master said, the gopis cherished ecstatic love for Krishna. There are two elements in such love, I-ness and my-ness. I-ness is a feeling that Krishna will be ill if I do not serve him. In this attitude, the devotee doesn't look upon his ideal as God. My-ness is to feel that the beloved is my own. The gopis had such a feeling of my-ness towards Krishna that they would place their subtle bodies under his feet, lest his souls should get hurt. Yashoda remarked, I don't understand your Chintamani Krishna. To me he is simply Gopal. The gopis also said, oh, where is Krishna, our beloved? Where is Krishna, our sweetheart? They were not conscious of his being God. It is like a small child saying, my daddy. If someone says to the child, no, he is not your daddy, the child says, yes, he is my daddy. God incarnating himself as man behaves exactly like a man. That's why it is difficult to recognize an incarnation. When God becomes man, he is exactly like man. He has the same hunger, thirst, disease, grief, and sometimes even fear. Rama was stricken with grief for Sita. Krishna carried on his head the shoes and wooden stool of his father Nanda. In the theatre, when an actor comes on the stage in this role of a holy man, he behaves like one, and not like the actor who is taking the part of the king. He plays his own role. Once an impersonator dressed himself as a world-renouncing monk. Pleased with the correctness of his disguise, some rich people offered him a rupee. He didn't accept the money, but went away shaking his head. Afterwards he removed his disguise and appeared in his usual dress. Then he said to the rich people, please give me the rupee. They replied, why? You went away refusing our present. Why do you ask for it now? The man said, but then I was in the role of a holy man. I could not accept money. Likewise, when God becomes man, he behaves exactly like a man. At Vrindavan, one sees many places associated with Krishna's life. Surendra said, we were there during the holidays. Visitors were continually pestered for money. The priests and others asked for it continually. We told them that we were going to leave for Calcutta the next day, but we fled from Vrindavan that very night. Master said, what is that? Shame. You said you would leave the place the next day and ran away that very day. What a shame. Surendra embarrassed. Here and there we saw the Babajis in the woods practicing spiritual discipline in solitude. Did you give them anything? Master asked. Surendra said, no sir. Sri Ramakrishna said, that was not proper of you. One should give something to monks and devotees. Those who have the means should help such persons when they meet them. I went to Vrindavan with Madhura Babu. The moment I came to the Dhruva Ghat at Mathura, in a flash I saw Vasudev crossing the Jamuna with Krishna in his arms. One evening I was taking a stroll on the beach of the river. There were small thatched huts on the beach and big plum trees. It was a cow dust hour. The cows were returning from the pasture, raising dust with their hoofs. I saw them fording the river. Then came some cowherd boys crossing the river with their cows. No sooner did I behold this scene than I cried out, O Krishna, where are you? And became unconscious. We shall stop here. So this world is the place for us to work out our liberation, and world is also the place for bondage. So it depends upon how we make use of the world. If you use it objectively, then you will get liberation. You have to see how, in what manner you are conducting yourself. So Guru's help is always there. Sri Ramakrishna tells again and again, good association, holy association awakens the spiritual aspirations in us. Otherwise, we are all like sheep tigers. It's a wonderful story. Any question to ask? Any comments? No, the point is excessive efforts. It depends upon one's constitution. What you say is true in one sense. Generally speaking, what you say is true. But in some cases, strong, intense, excessive effort doesn't mean that you should immediately, you started doing spiritual practice from tomorrow, you sit for 12 hours tomorrow. That is bad. Because next day you will have reaction and you will not be able to do anything, and you can't sleep, you can't walk, you can't do anything. No, that's not the way. So what you should do, in the beginning, you should not go that way. Start from low beginning. Just like the river at the source, this looked like a small child. I have seen Ganga in Gomukh. Oh, literally it looks like a child. Small rivulet coming through the cave, icicle, Gomukh. Then vast it becomes. So like that infinite potency is there, but it takes time to manifest. So what you in the beginning, you have to be moderate. Moderate exercise is always good. Moderation in everything is always good. There is no doubt about it. Disappointments come on account of some other reasons. Disappointments do come before realization. Even Sri Ramakrishna was disappointed before he got the vision of the Divine Mother. He felt so bad, in spite of my intensifying my meditation, I could not get the vision of Mother. What's the use of this life? So like that. But whatever the efforts we have put forth, they are not lost. Because it depends upon what type of forces are there in our mind. All the minds are not the same. Another thing is, if I look upon a person, it may seem very, how difficult it is. A person is doing so long spiritual practices, etc., etc. It may look to me like that, but the person himself may not feel that way. Another thing is, he cannot devote more time in spiritual practices unless he finds himself some joy in that. Joy. So he feels that immense joy and he wants to have more and more of it. So he sits through. And if the time is spent in spiritual way, it is best spent. To that extent, you are not inviting any more worldly samskaras into the mind. As I said, first of all, having come to this world, we should reach the goal. See God face to face. Then do whatever job you want. First priority is to realize God. So that's what Sri Ramakrishna tells again and again and again and again. Because we are not able to do that, so he tells, all right, because it's not easy to eradicate all the desires in the mind. So you have to live through the desires. Well, if that be so, all right, then remember God and do. Even that's also very difficult. In fact, that is more difficult. To think of God in the world is more difficult than to think of God outside the world. Outside the world means, suppose you come to the temple. It's easy. With little effort, you are able to keep your mind, at least for some time, peacefully. The same thing is impossible in the worldly surroundings. Because so many factors are there, so many forces are acting upon, counter forces. All these things have got value. Temple has got its own spiritual atmosphere, and always there is spiritual energy. You can feel that, always. Many times I have seen people coming here. What is it, Swami? What is the secret? I come here to the chapel, I feel immense peace. I don't feel like getting up at all. Sincerely, they are telling. Many times they have told like that. That's true. Particularly when you are coming with a mind, I am going to the chapel, let me sit before the shrine for a few minutes. With that feeling, if you come, you will enjoy it better. And that gives you tremendous energy. It gives you tremendous strength. And when you go back, you feel highly relaxed. you won't feel bothered about the problems you are facing in the world. That means you develop that power of bearing things and looking things in a proper way. You will develop that faculty. It's very difficult. That's why we always say, give importance for cultivation of good samskaras. I myself have seen in my lifetime, during my younger days, how in our homes tremendous spiritual activities were being done, and to recollect them itself gives me immense joy, and how true it is, and how devoted they were. That is the way. Without devotion, you will not be able to understand anything about God. So everything depends upon that. Atmosphere surrounding is very important. Just like that sheep, tiger, because it lived among the goats, it behaved like goat. So it's just like if people live in the company of drunkards, he will be also one of the drunkards. So like that. So one has to be careful and always aware, beware of your duty. What for you have come to this world? Try to achieve that first, then think of anything else. So realizing God is not selfishness. Sometimes people interpret that. No, it's not like that. Because if you become selfless only, you will be realizing God. Otherwise you can't realize God. There should not be any kind of selfishness. Then only you will realize God. Once you have that realization, then everything is very easy to handle. In Vedantic comments, that stage is set now. This stage of getting yourself detached from this body, mind, intellect equipment. So that's a tremendous development. If a person could detach himself from this equipment, it's a tremendous achievement. But then, about the fact, is it enough? No, that is not enough. Unless you have the experience of Sachidananda, the all blissful, all peaceful Chaitanya, that is important. Unless that is reached, that only shows you are yet to go. But you are on the right track, that is true. But then you have to hold on to some symbol or some mantra which symbolizes that highest reality, which question you were asking about, who am I, etc. That Parabrahman, if that is symbolized, for example, there are so many mantras explained in the Upanishads. Most important of it is that Om Pranava mantra. That's called Shabda Brahma. So just by repeating Omkar, you must be able to realize the exact truth, what you call cosmic consciousness, or the all-pervading consciousness, whatever it is, whatever name you may give, that you must experience it. If that has not come, that means it is yet to come, but you have to struggle for it. And another point is, we keep on doing it, at the same time, it has got its own indications. A person going in that spiritual path, how his nature is manifested in himself, his dealings, his talkings, and his behavior, and also all those things. And what we read, the spiritual qualities in an enlightened person, so those become manifested in a person before realization. And another point is, in that process you may be, when you are, as long as you are sitting in meditation for a sufficient length of time, you may feel that immense peace. But you continue that state till you get the result. That only shows probably you have to intensify the sadhana, whatever you are doing. And the final realization is, Sri Ramakrishna he explains that it is Nirvikalp Samadhi, where one gets ecstatic joy. Once he gets that experience, he doesn't want to come back anymore, because he has conquered fear. There is no fear. Why immediately mind comes down immediately? Because we are body conscious. Though we detach ourselves. Suddenly, for some reason, it comes down immediately. Because I am afraid of, probably I may leave the body, like that. So, no. When a person is able to detach everything, when the mind is free from desires, then there is nothing to fear. So that conception must properly develop in the heart. I desire nothing, I want nothing but the experience of God. I am ready to pay any price for that. So that zeal must carry on. And then when the realization comes, then you will know the beauty of it. That's the thing. But all the spiritual masters have said about the final result, Parabrahma Sakshatkar. The samadhi is a blissful state. That's all. Whatever samadhi you may call. Nirvikalpa samadhi is that where mind dissolves. That's all. In Savikalpa samadhi, mind stays. That's all the point. As long as you retain your individuality, indirectly you are entertaining fear. So that's the thing. So mind is created actually. So when you attain the samadhi state, the matter is over. You have realized the truth and you are in perpetual joy. And again, it depends. Suppose if the yogi wants to render some service to humanity, etc. If that desire comes, then he can create the new mind, fresh mind he can create. That mind will not be the same mind as he had the mind before. So like that, Yoga Shastras, they explain also. But whatever it is, one has to attain that, one has to realize that immortal nature. When you have realized your immortal nature, then there is no question of fear at all. Fear should not come there. That's the thing. Very good. Any more? Or we will conclude. We have got very important program, street naming ceremony. The City Council of the City of Chicago has passed a resolution to honorably designate South Michigan Avenue from East Adams Street to East Monroe Street as Swami Vivekananda Way. So the programs are being worked out and all the participants are required to be there by 10:30 or so. And it's a very momentous occasion. So please try to come and participate in this program. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself, O self drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree, take no honor to thyself, give honor to all, chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Oh, how I long for the day when instant separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence. Thou with tears my soul asunder. O thou who stealest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good be done all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, May all beings ever attain what is good. May the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.